Kia ora koutou and hello friends. Today we welcome Megan Martin for our Wellbeing Bite, and she is an across school teacher for Te Mara Akuranga Katorika, which is the Christchurch Catholic Kahui Aku, and one of her responsibilities is being the across school teacher for Wellbeing. Welcome, Megan.
Hi, kia ora.
Thank you for being our first guest on. And so, just for the purposes of our viewers, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Megan Martin, toko ingoa, nā reira, and kia ora, and welcome. A little bit about myself. I live in North Canterbury, work in Christchurch. I work at Marian College, and as Ara has said, I'm an across-school teacher for the Catholic Kahui Ako. I guess for me, the last 3 years, I've been really embedded in this wellbeing space in my role with being a cross-school teacher, and it's been quite challenging trying to share the things that I've learnt. So that's why I developed the liveuptoyou.org website as a way of a platforming of taking what I've learned and sharing it with others. That has kind of snowballed, I guess, with the introduction of our COVID-19, and we've kind of made a Live Up to You COVID community in response to trying to support all our teachers and educators to provide pastoral care from a distance in wellbeing, and that's based around the 5 ways to wellbeing. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment, and we have to date over 20 contributors, so that's really, really exciting. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. That sounds amazing, and we will put the link to your community COVID site below this video. So with that, can you talk to a couple of the wellbeing initiatives that you have on at Marian College, in particular supporting what we have going on with COVID?
Well, we've got a strong history of supporting wellbeing at Marian, and we've kind of lived quite a challenging journey, being a school that suffered from the earthquake. We changed once. We were a temporary location on one site. Now the site that we're on now, for the last 8 years we've been on, and we won't get a rebuild until 2023. So I guess as far as a school, we've kind of experienced what it's like not to have things go kind of normally, I guess. A few of our programs and initiatives, we have a Manawahine program developed about 4 years ago by myself and another colleague, Sarah Chia, and that's based around the front end of the curriculum. That's at level 2, and we also have a similar program at year 9. The key thing that we've really kind of been working on is our student wellbeing teams, and they're starting to develop and go strength to strength. Just the week before the mosque shooting, we held a human kindness ripple effect week, and they put a lot of those strategies into action, so that was exciting. And we've done things also with our Kahui Ako as well, because I know St. Bede's was involved in a similar kindness project in their context. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I think you're saying is some of the lessons that you've already learned around wellbeing, you're actually living them, and they're spreading out into the community.
Yeah.
With
and
the
we're trying to
students.
Yes, we're trying to get the students to take on things and actually practice them and live them, rather than us just talking about wellbeing. Actually live it and experience it and have their own journeys around it, and then they are starting to help others, which is fantastic.
That sounds very much like a virtuous circle, which is really quite comforting and embracing.
Yeah.
So given the uncertainty that we are managing, what would you say are the 3 key essentials to supporting our learners with their well-being at a distance?
I think the first thing is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And just with what we know with our journey with Marion, that it's a long haul. So we just have to keep things really simple and aim for progress and not perfection. So the first thing that I would say is having a clear framework. For example, with our COVID community on the website, we've based it around the 5 ways to wellbeing as a framework that not only hopefully our students will understand, but our community has some knowledge of anyway with the work that's been done by the Mental Health Foundation. And being really simple, for example, around that 5 ways to wellbeing, you can make an acronym called CLANG, which I kind of made up, as a really simple way to remember it. What does the C mean? It's connect. What does the L mean? Learn. What does the A mean? Be active. The N is take notice, and the G is give. And all of a sudden, it's simple, and we all have a clear understanding around that. So that would be my first thing. One sort of thing that everybody understands, a clear framework. The second thing is, like I said before, just super simple, just one thing at a time. We can do anything, but we can't do everything. And we just have to maybe lower expectations a little bit and realize that life isn't how it was before. So just one little strategy, one thing at a time, not too much stuff. The other thing with that is kind of that snowball effect. If we just do a little thing and do it well, a little by little, then a little becomes a lot. The third thing is to allow that space of self-experimentation, and for the students or whoever's using the wellbeing strategy or whatever you're doing for pastoral care to actually experience it. Wellbeing is a skill, has to be learned and practiced. So if you were training for a marathon physically, you train over a period of time, and it's the same with any of these mental and emotional skills, social skills, etc. So allowing that practice. So that'll be my 3 things: a framework, one little thing at a time, and practice. Yeah.
Lovely. And I can see that would be so much easier to do if you're a teacher in front of your students at school. And it just kind of made me think, so what could certain tweaks look like to what you've mentioned when we're dealing with our students who are online and we're having to communicate and be with them in that sense, which is likely going to be at least for the next couple of weeks or so?
Yeah, I think I mean, it's just, you just do what you can do. And I think, you know, we can't have that same amount of face-to-face, which we rely on teaching things like health or well-being, and just something simple. That's kind of why I developed the website. Well, I developed the website before, but we want how we've made the website work is that there's one simple strategy, there's a bit of a story to it on the strategy, and then usually there's a template where they can go and experiment themselves with it, and then maybe feedback to you that progress. Things are just going to look a little bit different. So the other thing that we have issues with that is the equity issue. Not everybody has access to computers and things at the moment. So that, I think that's a big challenge for many of our young people.
And is there a way around that, considering wellbeing at this stage?
I think that's the challenge that every school is kind of sitting in and trying to focus on at the moment. I know for us, we deliberately made sure we have workbooks, and we made sure that those workbooks went home, but then we're expecting students to be able to access Google Classroom to put the work on. So there is a disconnect there. What do we do for those students? And I think we're all really struggling with that at the moment.
Yeah, and that struggle is very real, really, and
very real.
Yeah, and so going back to that idea of keeping things simple, having a framework, and being allowed to kind of experiment within that space, and however much, this is what I'm hearing, that teachers are able to communicate that with their students in any which way they can. Because I know some teachers, knowing that their students don't have devices at home, are making personal contact in terms of ringing them. So going back to some of the old-fashioned methods, which there's never anything wrong with them.
I know, and that's it. Like, I know for us, the week just before we had our school holidays, we contacted as house group teachers. We made sure that each student had access to computers, made sure they joined the classroom, so that hopefully those other things wouldn't matter. But then we still have some students that don't have access,
Yeah.
so that's the challenge. But that's the stuff that does matter.
And so again, what you're modeling, Megan, I can see your school doing this, is modeling that care.
Yeah,
And
kindness
and
care. That feeling we're a team, we're all in this together. We haven't got the answers by ourselves. And, together everyone achieves more. So we will get through this, but how we do it, we just don't know yet. Yeah.
Absolutely. So lovely, useful, simple tips. And
Yes.
Considering our brain overloads at the moment, we kind of do need to keep it very, very simple.
Yeah, and also just considering teachers' well-being. I mean, they're working from home, they may have family, they may have dependents. We just have to get really realistic about what we can do. Slow down and breathe. And it's not bad losing all the busyness. That's the good thing. Yeah. What's important? So relationships, kindness, caring, manaakitanga. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned a number there, and it kind of leads us on to our final question, a bit of a personal question. I mean, what is your personal kind of go-to with regards to looking after your well-being?
I think it used to always be exercise. Yeah. I always exercised a lot, but increasingly I kind of am quite disciplined. I have a morning routine that I stick to. I get up really early, and in that morning routine I get my coffee, and I have a journal, and in that journal I have gratitude that I write. In that time also I might do a small meditation of some sort, and then usually, because I do get up quite early, I've got an hour or so, I will do something around learning. I've been doing a lot of study, so I've just completed a neuroscience certificate and a tikanga certificate. Yeah. And I'm doing a diploma of positive psychology and wellbeing. So it's just that time to sit in that space and work on that, because as soon as 7 o'clock comes around, life gets in the way, and then I want to be with the people I'm with. So that's been a great strategy for me, and that just keeps me tanked up. I've started the day well, and then I just go from there. And I've carried that on in the COVID sort of situation as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. So that idea of routine, and having an idea of what your day is going to look like, and almost sharpening that those first couple of hours during the day and their you time.
Yeah, and really deliberate about those practices, because I do know it makes a difference. I do know if I don't have that time, then things do tend to fall apart. And I know also as the time of the term goes on, I get more and more tired, and that's when things slip. So it's really important to be vigilant then. And my son has just given me an Easter egg, so that's pretty nice of him just then. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Because in there, what you're talking about, and maybe we need to have another conversation, the act of self-awareness and knowing your energy levels.
Yeah, I think in teachers, it's really interesting being with teachers, because you do notice about week 7 and 8 of a term that people do get depleted and tired, and how can we tank ourselves up and reinforce those positive emotions so that we do actually make it through a lot better. So
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much, Megan. So many handy, useful tips. And what I love about them is that they're super simple and achievable, and just growing, doing something just bit by bit.
Yes, little by little. Yeah,
just do something.
Yeah, and not perfection, it's just progress. It's not I think too, a lot of people get put off, they keep comparing themselves with others. Just you do you, and look at where you started and where you've finished. And that's all we can do. That's enough. That's great.
Lovely. Oh, well, thank you so much, and connect soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.